Welcome back, everyone, to a fresh new episode of Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Ella.
And I'm Bernice. Welcome back.
Hey, girly, what's up? What's good? How you feeling?
We're feeling funny. Honestly, what a vibe. There's been a lot of things I feel like in the past few weeks. It's a new vibe. I think fall is coming. You can feel
Yes,
the
I can feel
tingle.
it.
Uh-huh. And it's good because it's been the longest summer of my life. It's not been well. It's been well, but went too long of a summer. I've never felt like summer has lingered this long in a minute. And I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, "This is the most I've ever gone out in my life," and she was surprised. I was surprised too. She was like, "Oh, did you used to have a routine before?" And I was like, "I used to go to yoga and lift 2 hours a day." When was the
Babe,
last time I did that? I don't remember. I don't even remember.
it's
Um,
it's so I went to a coffee shop this weekend and I was like, "What are your seasonal syrups?" And she was like, "We have pumpkin spice if you're ready for it." And I was like, "Yeah, girl, I'm ready." I was like, "Bring on the
pour
pumpkin spice.
it up!
Like,
Pour
I'm good."
it up!
I'm okay. Fall can come. Like, it's been a good summer. We can say it's a wrap. Let's have my pumpkin spice latte. It's raining in Seattle already. Bing, bang, boom. Okay.
Oh damn. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's along with the new vibes. I'm ready for it to cool down a little bit cuz it's very humid in New York and honestly it makes me want to die here. But along with it it's like I started a new position for my job today and like I was low key sad, mainly because they made us do like a big meeting right before like before it was my last day and I was like I feel jaded that I had to prepare all this and then it's like
Mm,
bye, good job, bye. But I was messy depressy on the train back from Jersey, and it's like a 3 hour commute. Okay, so
yeah.
that's also
Oof.
why I was messy depressy. But I walked on the train, and there was like a bouquet of flowers, like on a seat, and I was like, ah, I was like the only one on that cart. So I don't know. I like to feel like maybe an ending is just the start of a new beginning. Perspective. Um, I just don't feel like I was fully quite ready for it. And I feel like I was thrown into it and I was a little sad and overwhelmed. But the flowers were like a sign. I did check them
Yes.
thoroughly to make sure there was nothing weird in there, though. I wasn't that trusting.
Oh my god, dude. The universe is giving me signs, but I'm just checking and
Just checking,
just
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 making
checking to make sure I'm not getting scammed. You're like, this might be too good.
good. They're right
Maybe
there.
this
See,
isn't
look.
my side.
Yeah.
Sometimes the universe gives you a little push out the door, push in the new direction. And so,
Yeah.
you can plan for all the changes and upcoming things you want, and then life just throws you curveballs. So,
I agree. You need to get a push here and there, and I'm going for it. I decided to like shoot my shot with some people for Fashion Week, just like emailing and being like, I'd love to be involved. I don't have like a specific vision in mind, so I just gonna see what happens. I think I'm just really in the shooting my shot vibe because I even I got together with my friend Paulina, and we're like a cute little duo. And I was like, "You want to go on a double date?" But the thing is, like, I refuse to download the apps. Okay, I'm over that. That's just like the most depressing, like withdrawal of dopamine and serotonin into your brain. I swear to God. So I was like, should I just post on my story that we want to go on a date?
smart.
Yeah, and then she made a Google form. So now when men reach out, I just send them the form, and I'm like, Paulina said to fill this out.
I love that. I mean, honestly, the apps have changed so much. So, like, I met my boyfriend on Tinder, but it's like that was like a different fucking world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like telling my friend and like I was like, let me see what's on the apps. Let's see what we got going. Cause she was talking about how much like all the apps suck. And I was like, let me see what we got. And I was like, oof,
It's nothing good,
it's
babes.
dusty, it's dry, it's not great. But I love your
Yeah,
initiative to get
thank you.
out and
Thank you.
see. You know what? Let's not wait for the app and the algorithm to give me somebody. We're gonna just fucking find somebody.
There's enough people hearting my little stories to make a move. And you know what?
Mm.
I thought, let me maybe make a statement. If you reply to this and you have a girlfriend, this is not for you. You know what I mean? But I was like, who would do that, right? Yo, men are just vile. Okay, I'm sorry.
Someone filled out your Google form that has a girlfriend?
Yeah, they like reached out to like, to like get the link. And I was like, sir, you literally posted you making out with a girl last week. I took a screenshot of it because I knew you're shady. Should I send it back to him?
Disgusting.
I'm gonna send it back to
Oh
him.
my god, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, just be like, is this you?
Isn't this you though? Who? And you tagged her? That's crazy. Why would you give me her contact information like that?
You don't know me, but you're about to. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if anyone listens to this podcast,
Your mandatory reporters.
should we put the form on the podcast story just in case any fans in New York want to do a double date?
Yeah, you're guaranteed to hee hee ha ha for sure. Like we're funny girls. I would
Yes.
put that.
Yes, it's not a front. You're definitely, both of y'all are joyful, cute little beings. So we'll put that. Check the Instagram. Thanks for you.
Thanks for your concern.
Thanks number 4 you're concerned for Verity says at for her Google form. Books are open. Okay, so we have such a fun episode. We're doing very mindful, very considerate, very demure. You know what? We're gonna get into what that means and give all the shout outs and praise to the people that started that. So, are we ready to get into the episode?
Let's get it.
It's gonna be funny. Okay, very mindful, very considerate, very demure. I literally have been having so much fun with this. It's been picked up by Kamala. It's been all over our social media. So it's basically Jules, who is an influencer. I think she's really the one that like's been picking up traction. But like the very demure, like demure is like a term for the dolls, for ballroom scene, and I thought it was really cool, so I think we should like talk about it.
I'm with it. I think it's been taken now as the trend where like some people I knew it was going to be big the second men started asking what they meant. But it's demure.
What is demure?
But there's some ways to go about it that I think are funny, and then there's some of you got to stop using them.
I know that's also been funny. It's like, no, this is not demure. So I feel like I kind of broke it up into like my funnies of what I think are very mindful, very considerate, very demure, and the things that are not demure.
Okay. What's demure to you?
It's cutesy. It's cutesy. It is subtle. It is mindful. It is I feel like it's like understanding that the angles of a situation. It's just being considerate, mindful, demure. It is being a beautiful person, being yourself. Those are a couple.
These are a couple of examples. I think mine, once I listened to it, was I I was high-ing a little too hard with one of my homies, and I was like, oh, let me not ruin my friend group. So I was like, we should just be friends. And I was like, wow, that was very mindful, very demure.
Yes, actually, that's a great example.
Yeah.
I was one of them at like work. I feel like I'm very, very mindful, very considerate, very demure. I keep my mouth fucking shut most of the time because you never know your audience completely. And I feel like it's just best to say less so you don't get caught up later. So sometimes I'm like, I'm going to stay very demure. I'm just going to be like, oh my God, no, I didn't hear about this. I have no idea. And just keep it cutesy because I don't want to get caught up.
I mean, unfortunately, with work, you can work with some really dope people that are going to be like generally happy for you in situations, or you're going to work with some hating ass bitches that are going to use what you tell them against you. I know I had like a coworker that honestly, like, she should have gone to HR with this, but she was like talking about taking PTO and then maybe like taking a sick day after. And she kind of got called out. She's like, I don't want you taking a sick day if you know you're going to be out. Excuse me, those are my sick days. I'll do with them as I may. Also, who are you? Get off my back. You know what I mean? So there's people that like sometimes and like one of our bosses told us like maybe you shouldn't talk about your plans so loudly. And I was just like, you know what? You all got hater energy, okay? But yeah, at work, being demure, being mindful is is the go-to in my opinion.
And like I honestly like I feel like I'm very tone or I feel like you can do your self expression in a lot of different forms, but let me tell you, I like to keep it demure at work because to be honest, I don't feel like this is the place where I want to pop my full pussy out, you know? And if that's you, that's cute, but I don't feel like that's where I want to pop my pussy per se.
Yeah, that's not a popular pussy. But I will say like there's a good balance of in and outs where you can like let people know your vibe without oversharing, I guess. That I would say that with anybody. You
Mhm.
not just at work, all right? There's haters everywhere, unfortunately. Yeah, knowing when to shut the fuck up has actually really been beneficial to me. Where I was like, do I need to give that person all the information? Because I'm a yapper, like I'm an oversharer for fucking sure. But as I've learned through the years, some people maybe don't deserve that vulnerability per se, you know, all that
Mhm.
information about you. So,
I think that's like one of my biggest lessons of growing older is that like I am a lot more considerate and mindful of sharing information. I feel like I just used to tell everybody everything and I think that's okay, but I think it left me very upset when people did me dirty, but it's like, oh, I should have not had been I should have been a little bit more considerate of my and mindful of my own feelings instead of I don't know, just being completely open and vulnerable.
yeah, I'm with you. I would say you can share something, but it doesn't mean that somebody is listening. And also, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like really listening or seeing you. And I think that's just like sometimes it's just out of their depth, and sometimes it is about the person that they are. So it's kind of a gamble sharing things with people. I think I've grown to realize that. Oh, I also had a problem with like oversharing and being like blindfully vulnerable. And now I wouldn't say I'm like super, super guarded, but I do choose the moments with who and when I get to share stories and almost like allow people to get to know me like a little bit slower. You know what I mean? And that's when I've
Yes.
noticed like people truly give me like their time of day and are listening to the information that I've got to share and really asking me like questions about it. And I'm like, oh, you're listening. I feel like I can share. Wait for people to give you cues that they're listening, I think is very mindful, very demure.
Yes, and I think like on the other side of the coin, I like to mind my own business. I feel like, you know, I I always hate when I don't hate, but it's always like crunchy when someone like asks like a very like probing question to someone and kind of puts someone on the spot that you're like, bro, you like, oh my god, that's not very considerate to put someone on the spot like that, in a group setting. Like I'm like either that's like a one-on-one question or like I don't feel like you know that person that well to like whatever. And so I just try to mind my own business. And then also if it has nothing to do with me, it has nothing to do with me. I feel like I'm gonna mind my own business. Like I'm not a hater. I'm not a snitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that's none of my business.
Oh, I'm 100% a snitch.
I'm a mandatory
I'm
reporter.
a mandatory reporter. Watch how
That's
you
different.
act
That's
around me.
different. That's different than a snitch, okay?
Okay, yeah. That's
If
true.
okay, let me say
That's true.
like I mean this like in the traditional sense of the word. If you don't pay for the bus, I'm not going to be the one to say anything about it.
Oh yeah, no. I'm
You know
probably
what I'm
not gonna
saying?
pay for it either.
I know, that's what I mean. I
um,
see you stuffing post-its in your pocket at work. Am I going to say anything? That's
that's
none of
your
my
business.
business. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're just bringing those to your desk. And I think I've gotten in trouble by not minding my own business and misinterpreting things. And so I think that's a little bit different than mandatory reporter. I just mean pure snitching. It's like, that doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to make bad assumptions about you. Very
Yeah,
mindful, very considerate, very demure.
very mindful, very demure. It's funny that you bring this up because I had a very interesting Uber driver yesterday, and Well, it was interesting because first of all, okay, I don't know if people know what like Trenton, New Jersey is like. It's kind of sketchy. It's kind of sketchy. And so I was like I was out of the train getting an Uber to work. And first of all, like it says like Uber's arrived, but like I was checking something on my phone. So like it took me 1 second to kind of grasp where this fucking Uber was. But by the time I look up, this girl's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Why?" You know? And then she was like, but I was like, "What do you say?" And she's like, "I think I'm your Uber driver." And like, I was sketched out. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little sketched out.
Was
Why is
she
she out of the
outside of
car?
her car?
Yeah, like she came to get me, and she was like, "I just had a feeling it was you," and I just did not like that. Okay, sorry, rant, but whatever. So I'm in this car, and she's a chatty Cathy. Good vibes. But yeah, I'm putting it first. So she's a chatty Cathy, and she's talking about minding your own business, and she's like, but she was talking specifically because I disclose sometimes like, oh, when people ask me, have you gone to Mexico? I was like, oh, actually, like, it's very recent type of information. I just went for the first time in a really long time, and she was just talking about like, I don't know, I guess her perception of undocumented people, and she just goes, you know what? I always feel bad because if people just minded their own freaking business, the world would be a better place. Like, why you gotta be in other people's business?
I ask myself this every day.
They're like, leave them alone, bro. I was like, period, queen, say it. And she was like, yeah, there's a lot of issues that if people just minded their business and worried about themselves, would it be issues if they just put more energy into themselves? And I was like, exactly, I'm with it.
Some people drive me nuts because it's like we're having these arguments that are like when you're in class and your teacher says, "Hey, if this applies to you, here's some information." And then someone raises their hand and be like, "Wait, but actually," and then they're like, "What about this?" And it's like, "No, I just said that if this information doesn't apply to you, then like
Shut the fuck up.
you don't need to listen to this." It's like, "Hey, if you turned your grade in on Friday, this just for people that turned it on Friday. I'll have it in on Monday. I turned it in on Wednesday. I literally just said if you turned it in on Friday, and this is the same thing. People don't mind their own business, and it's like, what? I don't want to be forced to get an abortion. It's like, we're
Mind
not
your
talking
business.
about you. Mind your business. Then don't
Mind your
get one.
business.
That's just that simple.
Another work example. You say you're working from home, and then there was a girl that was like, "Well, why does she get to work from home and we can't?" Shut up, bro. Mind your business. Like, can't you just be happy for her? Maybe if you shut up and we're good vibes, they'd let you work from home too.
Yeah. And also, well, that's also another thing. Like, this goes on the like not demure list, or I guess it's point and point. I feel like as I've gotten older, I have gotten more mindful and considerate of how I give people compliments because I've been on like the outside looking in when someone gives someone a compliment like, "Oh my god, you look so skinny." And that person's like struggling with an ED at the time and like and that's why like I'm like, "Oh, that is not fucking mindful. That's not considerate to give that type of compliment." And you can also people will ask questions and I'm just like or give compliments or they won't mind their own business and I'm like, this is not very mindful and considerate of and you never know.
Yeah. It does take about 2.5 seconds of self awareness to figure out if something could be slightly offensive. And then maybe we should switch our phrasing or maybe not say it at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Something that I do think that is mindful, demure, that is like good compliments and stuff like that is telling more people when you like what they're wearing, if like something about them is just like super special that day. This is how you stop being a hater. I swear to God.
And you know what? If you start giving strangers compliments, your life brightens up, okay? Because you never know. I said to someone the other day, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your hair," and she was like, "Oh, I look a mess today," and I was like, "I didn't notice." Her face,
You just gave her like
yeah,
you powered her up, bruh.
yeah, she just lit up, and I was like, because and I wasn't even being fake, like I'm not telling you go
Hmm.
out and be fake. I'm saying like when you notice something about people, just say it out loud instead of keeping it to yourself. That is very considerate, very mindful.
You
Very
know,
demure.
it's just also very mindful, very demure. Understanding that sometimes the other girl or other women or whatever, they're not the issue, right? Like sometimes I would say I got like the jealous, the green monster when boys made me feel insecure with other girls, and I'd be like, I can't be around her because I'm giving her bad energy, and she did nothing wrong to me. You know, like she doesn't even know about me. Like that's crazy.
Mm.
So to fix that, you know what I did? I was like, why would I be a hater? I could just be her friend. And I was like, yeah. So like I would say let this come genuinely. If you're still being a hater, just stay away from her. You know what I mean? Stay away from her. But like my shift in energy really like changed when I was like, hey, this person's not like a threat because people can't be threats unless they're like physically gonna damage you. Be for real,
Right.
pretty say. Okay. Second of all, why am I being a hater if like she's wearing a really cute dress? You know what I mean? And sometimes that's what makes you a hater when you're like, she's so pretty and she's wearing a really cute dress. Like, fuck her. So instead of fuck her, be like, you know what? Yes, sis.
And you know, I've created, I wouldn't say a friendship, but I feel like maybe a camaraderie when I like tell another person. Like I've had conversations with girls where I'm just like, girl, you know what? We're not even competing. It's not like that. Don't let him plant that in your head, baby. And
Yeah.
their energy shifts. And so if you're ready to be the bigger person and you know that there's some fuck shit that went down, you might be surprised that you're well received. Who knows?
That's for the most part what has happened to me. I befriended most like intersection of like people that we've have had like maybe tips with because at some point shit was weird. And then later I'm like, I'm ready to let this go. They're never the problem, okay? It's always the man. I swear to God.
Very rarely. They usually end up being a pretty cool girl, and you don't have to be like besties for the resties. But uh, who has time to harbor hate in their heart?
Not I.
Not me. Oh my gosh. Okay, something that I feel like is we have to work together to be very mindful, very considerate, very demure on our impact on the planet. Okay. I was
Ah,
mending some pants the other day and I was like, look at me not throwing these away. Because I think, I mean, for fair reason, you got holes in the crotch of your pants. What are you going to do? You could have a choice there. You throw them away and then just get new ones, or you pull out a string, a piece of thread, and you get to it. And if you don't know how to, look on the internet. We got the YouTube.
you can also turn them into shorts or skirt.
I do that too. I have done that in the past too. Yes, and then just conscious consumer in general because there's little babies being born every day who I would like to have a planet, so I try not to be a crazy overconsumption monster. Very mindful, very considerate, very demure.
Today was the first time I actually like shopped, and I wouldn't even say shopped, okay? Because my job was having a sample sale, and I didn't even know they were having one until I got there, and I was like, ah, and I didn't even buy it because I was like, I don't want to. And then at the end of the day, they were like, everything's $1, and I was like, well, I'll take out look because I usually just like thrift or make my own things. But it like kind of made sense, and then a lot of people were like, oh, if you don't like it or if it doesn't fit you, you can just donate it. And I was like, see, that's what's wrong with fashion, bro. We
Yeah.
can't think this way. But I did grab a bunch of things knowing that I could make them into something else if they, didn't fit me a specific way. So if you want to be mindful and demure, you should get into sewing because you can pretty much make anything into whatever you want it to be.
Oh yeah, baby. And I mean, I agree. And like, obviously, sometimes I'll say this: I had to buy a new pair of jeans. I've been not. It's not really a bad problem to have, so I'm not really gonna be like, oh my god, I fucking have none of my pants fit again because I've lost weight. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do after fucking trying to thrift. But I think that there's like over crazy consumption, and then there's like we need to buy things. I get it, but just think about other people before you buy your 20th Stanley. Okay, okay, I'm going to get into some funnies about things that I don't think are demure.
Okay.
So, my aunt said this thing 2 years ago, and I swear to God, I keep on thinking about it. And she says, the social contract is broken. Okay? And
What does that entail?
the social, that it is what it is. The social contract is broken. amongst, I will say this, like, boomers remember a society where people all followed the fucking rules, okay? Now you can't get people gathered together to do fucking shit, okay? You can't, you couldn't get masks on grown people to save the elderly. They were like, fuck them, okay? Like, the social contract is broken. I will tell you my number one pet peeve, and I think is the epitome of not cutesy, not demure. Men in open-toed shoes at work. Men's feet give me the ick. I don't want to see men's toes. And I feel really off some hater energy shit that I have to see men's hairy toes in the office. Call me crazy.
I can't relate. I don't think I've ever seen a man in New York wear a sandal to the city. I think it's a big no-no to wear sandals in most places in New York. It's kind of nasty. I could see why that would rub me the wrong way. That's a very Seattle thing. Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? Put on some fucking shoes.
I think people would be fired if they showed up with like sandals or flip flops at my job. Not demure, not
No.
cutesy. What's not demure? What's not cutesy? What's not mindful? A lot of people that pretend to be demure and cutesy, I know that they are demons inside there. Okay, so people will really put like so a social media cutesy front sometimes is off-putting to me because I'm like, you know what? Human beings have like a really wide range of emotions. If your social media is a little too tailored to make you look like you're like very put together, you're probably a menace to society. Like I guarantee it. I guarantee somebody has signed an NDA. Like yeah. Yeah, I know we're playing. We're playing games and you're a demon from hell.
Okay, I'll tell you one of mine that I think is not demure, okay? Billionaires. That's not demure. I cannot think of a fucking billionaire who hasn't had to do some unfucking mindful, unconsiderate, undemure shit to get $1 billion. We're talking billion with a B, okay?
Yeah.
There's skeletons in that closet.
I don't know. I always think of Paris Hilton. She has had her upside downs, but she's the most demure. She's almost a billionaire, I think. I think that's her goal. She's the most demure for me.
Do you know, I heard a rumor that she spent $300,000 keeping her chihuahua alive a year. And
It's
I was
her
like,
money.
I get it. I was
It's
like,
her
I get
money.
it. I was like, if I had that money, I would do it too. That's like, honestly, very demure. Whatever you could do for the puppy, dude.
Listen, I get it. Resources are resources. She's a good demure millionaire, almost billionaire, in my opinion. What's not demure? When you find out that one of your friends has been talking to their ex, but has been telling you not to. I think that's not mindful. That's just mean. Like, if we're gonna be toxic, at least let's be toxic together. What the hell? I hate it. I hate it when all these people hype you up and they're like, "Don't take him back. Like, he's a horrible human being," and then they all go and do it.
It's because they're talking to themselves, and you know, some of us depend. You know, it takes strength to stay away. I'll say that.
But I
It
was
does.
like, damn, I thought we were all in this together. Why would you do me like this? We had a pact.
I feel like it's almost more embarrassing when you've been like anti-ex to take your ex back. So they probably are like, oh no, I can't say anything.
Honestly, no. For me, it's just the lying about it. Because most people, I actually, you know what I think is demure? Getting back together with your ex. Go terrorize them. Go terrorize them and stop terrorizing the single people and making them more jaded, bro.
Yeah, man.
Some of you really need to get your exes back. That's all I have to say.
Oh my god, did you see this? Like, it was like this TikTok and it went like kind of viral, and this girl was like, we're going drinking because my brother, the love of his life, just got engaged, and it's a huge emerald cut engagement ring. Did you see that?
No.
But I literally was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I think it's so funny when someone says the love of their life gets engaged to somebody else. Because unless they like were cheating on you or something with that person, that's not the love of your life anymore, babes. Move on.
I have some
They
hot takes.
have.
I have some maybe a hot take to say about this one. I feel like if you know that your ex isn't going to take you back and you're like in love with them, it's because you're emotionally available and you want things you can't have. I don't know if you actually want your ex back, because if you really did, then you would probably do all those things to get them back, like anything they ask for you to change, show them that. And like if that person really cared about you and saw the changes, maybe they would actually take you back. You feel me? I'm gonna think about that one.
I think I'm gonna say I believe you're correct. I think you're on the money with that.
Yeah,
I think it's the I'm all down for a delusion, but I think it's the story we tell in our head, you know. Or
it's like yeah.
honestly, I think I think some people are untruthful with how much they're willing to change.
I think most people don't change. That's
I
why
think
people find other people that are more suitable for them, which
yes,
isn't a necessarily a bad thing.
I think people might like delude themselves into believing like no, I want to change. I can change, but then don't.
Mm.
And then it's like, no, I do want to change. I do want to change. I just need more time. But it's actually, if I think they're being really self aware and honest with themselves, they don't want to change because if they wanted to, they would. I know there's like, obviously, if there's things that this doesn't apply to, but I'm just saying, you know, your ex told you please spend quality time with me and stop playing video games for 18 hours a day, and you're like, I was trying to stop playing video games for 18 hours a day. I'm just not buying it, okay? Like you just don't want to stop playing for 18 hours a day, which is fucking fine, but don't lie to yourself like I was trying to cut it down, but it was really tough.
Not Demure, not
No.
mindful.
Mm-mm.
Not Demuretsy, not cutesy.
No.
No,
My
no.
favorite demure thing is when you don't have hair, but you still tuck it behind your head. I'll have my hair completely like in a fucking slick back, and I'm still like,
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I think I've been on my anti-demure as an aesthetic because I was like, I don't know if I fit into this genre. I'm like a feral. You know what I mean? Like I look at some of I look at my trajectory. I've become more demure over the years. I would say that. The mindful aspect, the cutesy aspect, she's cleaned her up her act, okay? But when I look back at like our college years and even like right after college, like pandemic time, there were a lot of things that weren't cute. There were so many things that weren't cute. And I actually think that you need to go through like a crazy feral phase to get to true demureness.
well, yeah, it's the you have to under I was gonna say something crazy. I was gonna be like, it's the dichotomy of life, right? You gotta know the extremes to go to the other extreme, you know? You need to know what being undemure is to
You,
understand demure.
you
You know what
need
I'm
to be a
saying?
swamp creature. Like
Yes.
when you're like 35, you're like so mindful. So demure.
It's literally so mindful because it's like how can you be self-aware that you're being mindful, you're being considerate, you're being demure if you've never experienced the opposite, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of things.
Yeah. If you're not fully if there was no crazy face, I'm not buying it.
I couldn't say it better than myself. I'm
Yeah.
not buying it. Okay, I would say that my last one, just because I'm gonna be reiterating this on the pod now until November 5th. Okay, something that is not mindful, not cutesy, not demure, not voting. Okay, babes, we need everyone to vote. We got trans rights on the line. We have LGBTQ plus issues on the line. We could go down
Women's rights.
women's rights. We could go down the list on and on and on. Basically, any marginalized person in this country, including like women, children, people of color, indigenous people, blah, 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 blah. List goes on and on. So it is very demure to update your voter registration. It's very cutesy to call your
Super
representative.
mindful.
It's very
Yeah.
mindful.
Well, we'll leave you with that. Okay? Just in case you need some time to just go do that right now.
Babes, that's it.
We'll just wait. We'll be here.
TikTok, TikTok. Anyways, if you want to find us on social media, thanks number 4, your concern for your daily dose of inspiration.
uh, we're at things number 4 you're concerned. I'm at Bernice Diaz M.
I'm at LL Tutor. Follow, subscribe, tell a friend, rate, review. We love you all. We'll see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.